Hey, what's going on YouTube? Lionel here. I knew I said that I wasn't going to be doing any videos to around December once the semester is over. However, I wanted to do a couple of videos. The first video is a video for a perfume who sent me something, and I just really want to respect his, his generosity, the fact that he would even go out his way to send me some perfumes, that he would even trust my nose or opinion or value that at all. So I wanted to send that one. I want to get this video out. Second video is a rant, which I won't take me too long. So I guess in totality, both of these videos shouldn't take us more than say uh, 15 minutes for both. So getting into this, this is from the house of Robert Elder, or the house of Sebastian. Sorry, the perfume is Robert Elder, and you've seen him on YouTube. You've probably seen him if you're involved in any of the Facebook communities. You've seen him around. Very nice guy. Um, you know, very soft-spoken fella. You've seen him around probably on videos. If not, just look up Robert Elder on YouTube and you'll see it. But he's actually uh, Lucky Scent has actually approved one of his fragrances. It's going to be on Indie Scents, which is a subsidiary of Lucky Scent, and it should be released here very shortly. It's called Meadow something Meadows. Now I've not smelled that fragrance, but um, if it's in relation to anything else that he's sent in the past, and I've talked about quite a few of his since then, I think he should do very, very well. Um, Now there is a couple of problems with doing this video. Number one is you may never smell these because he may never release them. Number two is he sends them in an oil form, and I sort of cut them my own way so that I can put them in an atomizer and wear them on my skin. So the alcohol content may not be the same as what how he's going to release it. However, I think the general smell should be okay. So, and on top of that, this is going to sort of coincide with his release. So, I mean, at least you can kind of see where he goes, or what type of perfume is, if his stuff is even quality, compared to so many of the options that you have out in the fragrance world. So, the first one is called Urban Legend. Um, I wrote this here on a little label, Urban Legend. Now, it's hideous. I know my penmanship is terrible. I learned to type in about the sixth grade. So I said I would never write again, and I actually failed junior high English one semester because I refused to write the paper. I typed it, uh, but there's too much information. Anyway, Urban Legend. So let's get into the notes real quick. The notes. In the top you have orange blossom. In the heart you have vanilla, ginger, aroma of wine, bourbon, and rum. And in the base you have tonka bean. Now, if any of you guys know, a bit about fragrances and some of the boozy fragrances, that heart is very similar to another fragrance. And I'll tell you this right off the bat, this fragrance, Urban Legend, is very similar to SDV by Guerlain. Um, the double vanille, Spirites double vanille, it is very similar to that. Almost in the vein of a Frappin's 1270. It sort of has that boozy, sweet vibe going on, right? Um, and I would even say that it's very similar. It's very close to SDV in feel and form. Maybe this one may have a bit more um, uh, the different boozy notes may actually give this a bit more. Man, I hate to say more class. It's just a. It's more of a complex fragrance compared to Guerlain's, in my opinion. Now, price point to Guerlain, I don't know if this is going to be anything in the price point of Meadows, which I think is going to be around $70 to $80, shipped for um, 100 mils, a 3.4. I would go with this fragrance in a heartbeat. I won't lie to you. As a matter of fact, what's funny is this is sort of in the vein of La Dandy, um, but this is more sweeter, a little more dense, has a little more volume than I would say La Dandy. So I'll tell you what I smell real quick. I don't smell orange blossom. and I don't get a whole bunch of either ginger or tonka bean. Now the ginger could play well with the other with the boozy notes, sort of just morphing itself in a certain way, how ginger does. However, I don't smell ginger on its own really, and I don't smell orange blossom really much at all. It sort of has a slightly fruity accord, almost like that, and not like pure, not the smell of pure malt, but sort of that fruity vibe that pure malt gives you. Sort of has that vibe, and that could be the orange blossom just kind of morphing in with the other fragrances and just blending. Those other notes are just kind of drowning it out. But the orange blossom could be giving it that fruity vibe. So, needless to say, I would put it in that boozy family. La Dandy, Pure Malt, Frappin' 1270. It sort of has that character to it. A bit more vom, a little bit more sweeter than Dandy, um, and a little bit more something going on than I would say Guerlain's SDV. If he would release this, I would buy it very, very quickly. Um, I think this one of the two fragrances that I'm going to review, this one has the more mass appeal. I would just tell you straight out. I think this one would be a favorite with 9 out of 10 people who smell it. And if it's at that $80 price point, it would destroy every other designer on the market. And I'm saying that very honestly. So that's that one. The next one, which I actually like a bit more, but I would see a lot more people saying, no, it's a bit too different from me. It's called Kiss of the Vampire. Kiss of the Vampire, Kiss of the Vampire. Let me tell you about the notes. The top is orange blossom, mango, and lemon. In the heart, you have jasmine, yin ylang, rose, and violet. And in the base, you have leather and suede. You can tell off the bat that these notes are a lot more exotic than Urban Legend. It's a bit more risky of a fragrance. It's a lot more eclectic than I would say Urban Legend is. Urban Legend, again, 9 out of 10 people would 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 like it, and the other guy just may not like boozy fragrances. Urban Legend can be both masculine and feminine also. This one, Kiss of the Vampire, is more on the feminine side of the scale, I think. Um, so let me tell you about it. Um, the fruity notes blend so well that you don't really smell them. I mean, it's orange, blossom, mango, and lemon. So it just sort of has this fruity citrus vibe, but not citrusy as in you get in a lot of the sports fragrances. More the citrusy that you get in, more the citrus that you get in like a Sweet Redemption or one of those types of fragrances. Almost, if you think of a 24 gold or 24 platinum, that sort of fruity accord, not a sharp fruity accord, so to say. So it's not a sharp orange blossom, like in the Rolling Portofino. It's more not a fresh citrus. It's more of a fruity citrus. So I get a lot of the jasmine, the ling ylang. I don't really know. I can't really tell you because I don't really know what it's like on its own. Um, you get a lot of the rose and some of the violet. So it's sort of a fruity floral with this bang of velvety leather. Very similar. It's not as leatherish as Whips and Roses or a lot of those Tuscan leather. It's more of a very velvet, very smooth. I would even argue something like Ombre Rousse. If you've ever smelled Ombre Rousse and you can smell the leather accord in there, you can almost feel it on your skin. It's very, very similar to that. It's a lot more exotic, a lot more risky, but I would argue I like it a lot more now. I've had my wife smell both of these in Urban Legend. She said it smells really good. Kiss of the Vampire, she said it smells like ink. I gave my both of my kids, I mean they're only 3 and 6, but I gave them just a sniff test, and they're usually pretty good. And both of them picked Urban Legend. They said they just smelled that on different occasions, so they weren't sitting next to each other. One was upstairs, and I went up to him. One was downstairs. So, needless to say, I think Kiss of the Vampire would be a bit more on the risky side, very similar to uh, Whips and Roses by Kerosene. But the rose, the rose in this one sort of has a sweeter vibe to it, sort of a Nora Noir type of rose, more than a Whips and Roses, which is a pure rose, which is more of a Lumiere Noir or a lyric man type of rose is in those roses. This one is more of the rose you get in West Side, more of the rose you get in Northern Noir, that type of rose. I like them both a lot. Again, Kiss of the Vampire would be a bit more on the edgy side, exotic side, but I think would be a cult favorite, especially with a lot of the different noses around Facebook and a lot of the. I think it would be a cult favorite with the women, especially. I don't know if the guys would like it as much because it's definitely more on the femme side, but I really enjoy it. So I enjoy both of them. I think he did a really good job with these fragrances. I think he has a really good nose, and what I really appreciate about Robert Elder is the fact that so exotic. I mean, some of his notes, I mean, the things he put together is just amazing to me. So, Urban Legend is probably one of the safest fragrances I think I've come in contact with. That one in Cafe Royal, which I hope he releases this winter. I hope he releases Cafe Royal this winter because it makes pure coffee like you ever run coffee through a you know through the cycle about 4 times. So that fourth cycle, that's what pure coffee would be to Coffee Cafe Royal. So hopefully he will release that again. But needless to say, Kiss of the Vampire more exotic, Urban Legend a lot more safe. You get a sweet boozy note with Urban Legend. You get a velvety, leatherish, fruity rose accord and that Kiss of the Vampire. So that's it for me. I greatly appreciate it. I got one more little rant to do. Peace.